It is the money time here. We talk about the contract, anything to do with your home, contracting, all that goes into that. It's a big umbrella topic, of course. We've got the roofing experts right here, Surf and Turf Roofing. The Contractors Corner is brought to you by Surf and Turf Roofing. Find out more about them online at surfandturfroofing.com. Spell out the "and." Guy Solani is with me. Guy, you brought us a guest this week. Tell us a little bit about him.
I did. After last segment, we got into fire safety and getting those systems of your house ready for the winter time. And I thought nothing better than bringing in Joe Craddock from Rock Salad Home Inspections to throw some tips and talk a little bit about what he's seeing out there with some not so safe practices that we're seeing some older homes.
Well, it's interesting when you and Joe. Welcome to the primetime program.
Good
man.
to be here. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And listen, when you first proffered the idea of the home inspection guy, most people think when they're thinking home inspection, they're thinking, well, you're buying a house, you got to get it inspected, right?
Yeah.
But as you and I are talking, I'm thinking to myself, man, oh man, if you've been living in a home for any length of time, it might be a pretty good idea to get it inspected. Joe, what do you say to that?
I think it's a great idea. Not even if it's a great idea if you intend to sell it, if you're planning on selling it, but even just for your own knowledge, just for maintenance issues that you may not be aware of. I mean, houses deteriorate over time, and there's things that need to be done, and you're not always on the lookout for them. And I can go there and really zero in and try and find things that you may otherwise not be aware of that are legitimate problems.
That can be a big job by itself because you got your heating, right? You got air conditioning, you got ducts, you got wiring throughout the home, fire safety, roofing, structural beams, things like that, foundational items. So like the gas, I mean, the list goes on and on. You guys cover all that?
We do. On a typical home inspection, we'll start on the roof and work our way down. We like to walk on the roof, and we'll look at the shingles and the flashings, the chimneys, the gutters, the siding, windows, the foundation, the decks. That's all part of a typical home inspection. The drainage, walls, sidewalks, and then when you head into the house, you're going to be up in the attic. You can look at the structure. You can also look at the underside of the roof to see if there's been leaks. That's usually a dead giveaway that there's a
you see
problem.
What little stainage or some markings that indicate water?
Yeah,
right.
Looking for daylight, looking for staining, looking for soft plywood, and then we work our way down and through the house. The mechanical systems are all part of it. The heating and air conditioning, like you said, we'll run the appliances. We typically take the covers off of circuit breaker panels. We'll look into the electric box. Crawl down in the crawl space. I usually save that part for last. That's the least.
Now, do you got to put the hazmat suit on when you go down there?
I have coveralls. I don't quite go to the extent of the hazmat, but I'll tell you what, some of them are.
I saw some
pretty
people
tough.
working on their house on Sunday. Man, they had my neighbors across the street. I yelled over to them. I said, "Is everything all right? Am I all right over here?" They're just working in the yard, man.
Oh man,
with a hazmat suit on.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's awesome to see that. I know you guys do such a thorough job, but to start on the roof and actually go up on the roof, because so many inspectors don't. A lot
of guys won't, and you're not required to. As a home inspector, you're only required there's a standards of practice that we adhere to that the state of New Jersey puts out, and we're really only required to bring an 11-foot ladder. So that doesn't get you on a whole lot of roofs.
No.
But you have to use some common sense. I mean, we don't want to get up on a roof that is too high, that we're unsafe, but also roofs that are deteriorated that we have the potential to cause more damage by getting on them. So you just use common sense, but more you can't see, and we have to carry binoculars, and we can look from the ground or from a ladder, but really the best way to do it is to get up there and really walk it and feel it and look. And,
absolutely.
Yep.
Agreed, 100%.
Might some drone technology might come in handy there.
You're not,
Joe,
and actually, yeah, you're 100% correct. I don't have one yet.
On those on the high ones, man, where no matter even if you have the ladder, you don't want to go up a 30-foot, 40-foot roof.
You're exactly correct. And there's clay tile roofs that you have no business. I mean, you can't walk on them. You'll destroy them and cause more damage, and that would be a perfect example of where you would use a drone, and that's a wonderful technology.
Is that something you're exploring?
It's in the works.
A lot of people are these days.
Yep.
Listen, so let me ask you this, because when you kicked it off, you are basically doing a thorough inspection, okay? Now, obviously, depends on the size of the house, how old the house is. Does that affect the pricing on an inspection? And then I got a follow-up to that.
Okay, sure. And yes, yes, it should, and no, it doesn't. I'm new to the inspection business. I got licensed in May, but I have a background in construction and real estate, so I feel like everything I did led me to being a home inspector, and I want to get the business. So I'm willing to take on pretty ambitious inspections that other guys may charge a lot more for, because I want the business. I want to gain the relationships with the customers and establish myself. So I'm doing them. My typical home inspection is $395, and that's up to a 5-bedroom house. And I don't even ask the age. And the older houses absolutely take longer.
So for $395, you're coming in and doing all the. Because I was actually going to ask you. My follow-up was, are there different degrees of inspection? Like, could I hire you and say, hey, Joe, can you just give me a once-over and just kind of,
Well, yes, but the answer to that question, yes. I could come out almost as a consultant. If you didn't want to have a full-fledged report, but you want the full-fledged inspection, that could be done, and that is less than what a typical home inspection would cost. And a lot of folks are doing that when they're preparing to sell their house. They want to know what a home inspector may come and find, and they want to anticipate it and prepare for it.
Right.
And I think it is a smart move. And I wouldn't say that's half my business, but it's probably about 20 or 25% of the customers that I get are doing just that. So
now let's go back to somebody who's had their home and they want to get an inspection. They want to see if they have any gaps. They want they're getting ready for the winter, right?
Yeah.
They're winterizing, and you got heating, you got this, that, and the other thing. That's something that people want to start calling about now, even though the weather's nice. I mean, they're talking about a cold front coming in Friday. That's probably not going to be too bad. In fact, it'll probably be a relief to a lot of people, certainly me. But it's amazing how time is freaking flying by. It was just Labor Day weekend. Now it's October 9th. Before you know it, we're going to be grabbing turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Easy.
It won't be long. You're right.
So now is probably a pretty good time if you're, concerned about your home. And
that's a great time. Oh, I agree 100%.
And I want to ask you about another thing. When I was a kid, growing up, I grew up in an old Victorian home, three stories, and I was on the third floor. And I used to like to sleep with the window open, right?
Yeah.
Now, my dad, he didn't really like that too much, because the money's flying out the window, right? How much can people be losing out of their home? I mean, I realize it varies, depends on, how old the home is, how many gaps you got. But, is there, an average about how much folks, is it a significant amount? Like, if folks were to seal their home properly, would they save some money?
I think there'll be an appreciable savings, generally worth making the effort and doing it. I couldn't say percentage-wise how that comes out, but I think as a rule, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're surf and turf roofing, right? Now you guys just gave away a roof
Yes.
not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago. How's everything going in the surf and turf roofing world?
Tell you, we did our inspection earlier this week. We got our materials ordered, and we're set for installation next week, and we're really excited. We're going to have the whole office is going to go out and throw in a hand. It's just going to be a great time, and it's a great people that got that won, so it makes it even that much better.
Yeah. He called Tom, right? Was his first name?
Ed Mallet.
Ed Mallet. I was thinking Tom Mallet, but no, that is phenomenal that you guys do that, and. For folks that might just be tuning in for the first time, now your company, what's the name of your company?
Rock Solid Home Inspections.
Rock Solid Home Inspection, and what's that number? What's the number? 609-432-2678. We're based in Summers Point, but we really cover all of South Jersey. We'll go from Cape May up to Toms River and out to Camden, Pennsauken, Burlington. So we cover a pretty wide territory.
Awesome.
Pretty wide territory, and folks can get a cursory inspection. They can get the full 9 yards, the roof, the everything. $395. That is an unbelievable price. Is there an advantage? Any insurance advantage? If you get your home inspected, does it help you with your insurance? Things of that area?
I don't think so.
No.
I wish that would be great,
Yeah.
because that would entice some people to do it that may be on the fence about doing it. But no, I'm not aware of a savings but there's certainly lots of advantages for them.
You know, one of the things is I'm sitting here talking to you, and two things popped into my mind. Wiring in the walls. I mean, I realize you do a thorough inspection, but other than, if a home's got some age on it, how the heck can you tell what condition the wiring?
And there are limitations there, but you look where there are exposed wires, and that's why we get in the crawl spaces and crawl around, and that's why we get up in the attic, because those wires aren't exposed, and you look for clues. You look for the old cloth wiring or the knob and tubes, and then you also look where they enter the service panels. So there are ways to kind of get a feel for what's in there. And then if you feel like there's a problem, then you recommend having an electrician come and look into it further.
And plumbing, too? You guys look at that as well?
Absolutely. That's all part of it.
Now, the other question, 609-927-1100, folks, if you have a question for Joe Craddock and Guy Solani of Surf and Turf Roofing. And Joe, of course, is with the new construct. What did I have it here, folks? Excuse me. Bear with me here. Hold on here. Yeah, there it is. Rock Solid Home Inspections. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. 609-927-1100 if you have a question for any one of these guys. I want to ask you about when you do an inspection. Now, how about environmental? Like, we live in a world, Joe. You've got plastics, all kinds of glues. Things are used, in the home these days that haven't been around in a long time. Do you guys, if you don't do that, do you have access to people who do?
I do.
Environmental inspections as well as the traditional stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And the two that rise to the top, I mean, almost every home inspection, the client wants a termite inspection, and we're set up.
I didn't even think of that. Pest control.
Yeah, pest control is a big
sure.
part of it. Almost anybody that finances their home, the mortgage company is going to require them to get a wood destroying pest certification done. So that's almost 90% or more. But also the big things, and not so much down here where we have sandy soil, but the radon, the gas that's an actual carcinogen that comes out of the earth and out in the western parts and the northern parts of the state. It's more prevalent, and that is almost every inspection that comes along with that. And on the bigger thing we're seeing too is also mold. Almost everybody has a concern about mold.
Well, you are hitting some hot issues here. Let's first, before we go to mold, I want to ask you about radon. So when you like read in a newspaper column or something like that, so radon is a natural occurring.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's decomposing
compound that comes through the earth.
A decomposing rock now, and it's more prevalent in homes that have basements. Homes that don't have basements, it's not as big a concern, but actually the state of New Jersey puts out a map, the New Jersey NJDEP. There's a map you can see online of the entire state, and they categorize zones that have a higher propensity of having the radon.
Right.
And they recommend that every single house be inspected when on a real estate transaction. But like I said, sandy soils down here, it's not
that much. Not that big of an issue.
Not that big of an issue. But you go out into Cumberland County and up near Toms River, there's pockets of it where it's high, and a lot of it's odorless. You can't see it, you can't smell it, but it can be in your home. It can literally cause cancer and kill you. So it's something people need to be aware of, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, now before I go over to mold, now one more quick thing on the we lived back in the old days. I actually had a guy on my show has a shop up in Atlantic City, and the old timers back in the early 1900s and stuff like that, they used to dump stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And just dump it, man, no matter what it was. You know what I mean? Just get rid of it, right? So, do you get do you find situations that are odd, that you're in an area and you're like, man, this really shouldn't be here. What the heck, something must have happened a long time ago.
I haven't come across that quite yet, but the other thing we look for, and then there's concerns about it, is asbestos. And you'd be surprised how many homes announce not so much a concern on the siding. You see asbestos siding, and as long as it's intact, we don't get too concerned about it. But where it's in the basements, wrapped around pipes, and it's still out there, and that's a lot more dangerous. That is friable is the term they use. If that becomes airborne.
Oh, airborne after it gets older and it starts getting into dust.
That's right, and those little dust particles are really a health hazard.
What's the really damaging insulation that was used in attics a long time ago?
Vermiculite.
Okay.
Yep. And I've only come across that once. They look like little stones. I mean, it literally looks like little pebbles up in the attic between the joist, the floor joist.
Yeah.
But there was one factory that manufactured the majority of that, and it's called vermiculite, and it had cancer in it. Or not cancer, it caused cancer. It had carcinogens in it, which caused cancer. And anytime we see that, we have to call it out, immediately, and make the buyers, of course, and the sellers aware of it.
Wow, I've actually never heard of that. Now, mold, we all, from Sandy, and everybody's drying out their home.
Yep.
We all heard about. But we're really surrounded by mold. So how do you every day? It's like a part of our lives. Even if you can't see it, it's still around.
It's there. It exists
so
naturally.
How do you know when it's other than watching it grow on the wall? How do you know if it's a problem?
By bringing in an expert. Honestly, as a home inspector, we're not required or not allowed. If we see an organism growing on the wall, we have to identify it as just that, an organic growth. Until it's actually tested by an expert, we can't call it a mold, even though we're pretty sure that it is by looking at it. But until it's actually tested, you can't say that for sure. So that's anytime we see it and it's a concentrated area and it looks like it's really questionable, we're just going to call it out and have an expert come in and actually do the test and tell them, because there's some that are completely harmless, others that truly are dangerous to your health. If you have breathing issues, respiratory can affect you. And there's also
immune issues.
Yep, and there's also strains of mold that are literally wood-destroying organisms, where they attach themselves to the wood, and they will deteriorate and eat the wood to the point where it loses all its structural value. And I've seen that. It was horrifying. I've seen it. And it's amazing what it can do when it's left, if people are unaware of it.
The good Lord is a mad scientist in many ways, man. No two ways about it. Hey, folks, we're talking with Joe Craddock. We're talking about home inspections. If you'd like to get in, if you have a question, 609-927 1100 is the number. Rock Solid Home Inspections is Joe's company, 609-432-2678. We're also talking with Guy Solani. He's one of the owners of Surf and Turf Roofing. And what about, he's talking about inspections, gutters and rain spouts this time of year, when folks, it's a major problem. They start getting filled up and clogged.
It's the call for this time of year. It only takes one leaf to really clog a gutter, and with the thousands that hit your roof line every year, gutter guards they really need to be there, and they stop so many problems from happening. But a good drainage system is going to stop any of those water issues around your foundation.
Right.
They're going to stop any of that ice damming from kicking back up your gutters, and as Joe was talking about with the mold and the wood destroying mold. You get a little bit on a rafter tail or under a fascia board, and you're looking at a long set of problems moving forward if you don't get it taken care of or prevent it from happening.
So the gutters and the rain spouts are an inexpensive way. Keep those maintained. You don't have to you don't have to worry about expensive headaches down the road.
Absolutely, it's all about the maintenance and catching it before it happens, and that's why I love the idea of having a home inspection, not just during a transaction, but you've been in your home for 5, 7, 10 years, and you're just not sure about everything.
I think it's a great business. It's like an avenue that really is probably unnoticed, and simply because nobody's really thinking about it. But it makes a lot of sense to me to have your home. I mean, I'm actually going to get it done. I'm interested in these kinds of things. What am I breathing in? What's not just what's going on behind the walls and all that kind of stuff, but what's going on in the atmosphere that I'm living in.
Well, yep, and you're right, and it goes beyond just trying to find things that are wrong. It is in a lot of ways an informational thing for folks, especially first-time home buyers. They really appreciate and I encourage them to come out and be a part of the home inspection so they can see and they can have perspective and they can understand. And it goes beyond just looking for things wrong. We're looking to show them how to operate certain systems and where things are, because a lot of folks, especially first-time home buyers,
so you're
have
not
no
one
idea.
of those people that hide the trade secrets.
No, we're right out there. No, we want
the customer.
And honestly, it is very rewarding to have them appreciate what you're doing for them, and they get a lot out of it.
We have Ginny's in Absecon. She's got a question for either Joe Craddock or Guy Solani. Ginny, welcome to the program. Who do you want to talk to, Joe or Guy?
Both.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, I was listening to you talk about insulation, and my home was built in 1888 originally.
Wow.
And there's a kind of insulation in here, I think. What's the white stuff that was blown in?
Well, and do you have any idea when it was? I guess
No.
No, you don't know when it was done. I mean, if it looks like
I've
cotton.
been here for 33 years, and it was here then, so who knows?
Okay. And look, what we were referring to earlier, that vermiculite, it doesn't
Vermiculite?
vermiculite, and it's a consistency. It's like a little stone. It looks like a stone, and so you wouldn't confuse that at all
And
with
it's
like
white, correct?
Well, they're like earth tones. They're whitish.
We had that all through the house that we grew up in, and it was a Victorian home, and it was built in like 1929. And on the lath, you could see like what would appear to be like white stone, but I guess it was this vermiculite or whatever.
It very well could have been.
But I'm
Does it
still
look like
here.
Cotton?
No,
Cotton?
and there's a definite distinction there. And if it looks like cotton and it's soft and it's light, it doesn't sound to me like that's what you have.
What's that?
Honestly, it's like a cellulose blown in insulation, and
It's white, and it looks like it's cottony with some little granules in it.
Sounds like something you might have to take a look at, Jenny.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen, thanks a lot. What you're saying really makes a lot of sense.
well, thanks for calling. I
check
appreciate
the house
that.
out before you have a problem.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Jenny, thanks for getting in over
Bye.
there in Absecon. Yeah, you're welcome. 609-927-1100 is the number, folks. Talking to Guy Solani from surfandturfroofing.com. Spell out the and, surfandturfroofing.com. And if you got any roofing questions or questions about, you talk about getting ready for the winter. We're talking about home inspections. You got to talk about roofing. I mean, this is the time of the year where, I was talking about money going out the window when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And, literally, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're heating your home, a lot of it's going up. And if it's not, if you don't have a proper roof, you could be costing you a lot of money.
Absolutely. We talked about it at our last segment. You want your attic temperature to be within 20 degrees or so of your outside temperature. And if your attic is nice and warm in the wintertime, you got an insulation problem or a ventilation problem with your roof. And,
most people would think, like, if they go up there and they think their attic's nice and toasty, they're probably thinking to themselves, oh, yeah, my home's all sealed up, man. This is beautiful. But you're saying that's a bad sign.
That is a bad sign. That's a problem. That's a real problem. You can get a lot of moisture issues going on in the attic, starting to get some mold, and you're just running a very inefficient home. You can save yourself a whole lot of money if you nip that in the bud before it becomes too far gone.
Guy Solani is his name. Joe Craddock is his name, folks. And Joe's got rock solid home inspections. Guy is Surf and Turf Roofing. You can find out more about Surf and Turf Roofing, 609-365-7663. They're Platinum Owens Corning preferred platinum contractors, folks. That is not an easy thing to attain. Check them out online, surfandturfroofing.com. We'll got to take a quick break. I don't know. We're going straight through, Nick. We got to go straight through. Top of the hour. ABC News coming up. We'll be back on the other side, and we'll finish up with these guys here on the Primetime Program, 609-927-1100. Back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Primetime Program. Always good to be with you, folks, and tonight is no different. Thanks for making us a part of your South Jersey evening. We got our guests a little overtime. Melanie is in Linwood. We're going to go to her in just a moment, but if you want to get in, you have a question for either Guy Solani of Surf and Turf Roofing here on our Contractors Corner or Joe Craddock from Rock Solid Home Inspections, give us a call, 609-927-1100. Melanie's in Linwood. Melanie, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. I just had a question. Does Joe work on the weekends? Because that was a problem that I had, was getting a home inspector to come out on the weekends when me and my husband were off.
And that's a good question. And yes, I do. And I actually prefer doing it. And I have no qualms whatsoever, Saturday and Sunday. It works for a lot of folks. A lot of folks aren't available if they're buying properties from out of town and they have work hours and they can't get down here during the week. I think that gives me an advantage over some inspectors that may not be willing to do that. So yes, to answer your question, Saturday and Sundays are just like a regular work day for me, and I will take appointments.
Okay, wonderful. And one other thing, and this is putting you on the spot a little bit. Do you give any sort of discount to police or military?
We do. Yes.
Families?
Yes. Yeah. 10% always. Anybody that's served in the military or whether they're active or no longer involved, police, fire, EMTs, we do.
Awesome.
My father's a retired cop. I almost went down that career path as a young man. Never regretted not doing it, but I have a kinship, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for our military. So yes, that's a discount that we always provide.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, Melody, for getting in over there in Linwood. Joe's number, if you're interested, is 609-432-2678. That's 432-2678. Don't forget the area code. Before we do a recap, you've got, you got something going on with Always Corning, right? They got some kind of big thing happening here
They
with
do,
a
they
roof.
do.
They want to give away another roof or something?
They absolutely do. Owens Corning, they never cease to amaze me with some of the innovation and just the world-class effort that they put forth to help our communities and what they do for our industry. And they started the program not too long ago called Owens Corning Roof Deployment, where they're giving back to all military veterans that they can. Year to date, I believe they've given away 90 roofs throughout the country
Wow.
to military veterans. And when they brought that to us, we jumped on board as quick as we could. So we're gonna be taking care of one for a nice family here in New Jersey, middle of November. We just did our inspection with them today, and right before Thanksgiving, keep in tune, stay in touch, and we're gonna take care of that for them. We're just honored to be able to help.
Well, that's what made me mention it was the military discount, and then I know that this program was designed for military personnel as well. So that is a nice touch for the folks at Owens Corning and surfandturfroofing.com. Hey, Joe Craddock, Guy Solani, always great to see you guys. Joe, how about like a recap now? So folks, everybody thinks they got to do an inspection when they're selling the house. Basically, we've been talking about the fact that it probably is a pretty good idea for folks to do an inspection of their current home. No reason not to. All kinds of things can be prevented or
And things change, and you'd be better off for knowing as much as you can, yeah.
That's Joe Craddock, and then Guy Solani from surfandturfroofing.com. Spell out that and, folks, and you can get more information for Surf and Turf Roofing at 609-365-7663. Joe, of course, with Rock Solid Home Inspections. That number 609-432-2678. We're going to take a quick break. I'll give me an opportunity to say goodbye to these guys, and then we'll come back on the other side. Remember, folks, I told you I got a couple of clips that I wasn't able to play last night. The one guy was Derek Lewis from the fight the other night, right?
Yep,
Christopher showed me a replay of this MMA match, folks. Wait till you hear this guy. He is something else. You're going to be hearing more about this guy. I got a clip from Derek Lewis. I'm going to play. He's a big Trump guy, man. We're going to get him on. Anyway, folks, stay right there. Prime Time continues here on News Talk 1400, WOND, South Jersey's information station. I'll take a moment to say goodbye to our guests, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
South Jersey's News Talk 1400, WOND.